Here we are, final morning, final breakfast of this cruise back in Triton's. Was able to run to Shutters, get all our pictures downloaded, all of our photo book going. Kind of advice, do not wait till the last morning to get that done. Make sure you're there before 11 p.m. But right now, time for a good breakfast before we leave. That definitely looks like some good grub. Goodbye, Disney Wonder. It's the long walk off. Until next time, see you real soon. My favorite part, customs. Okay, now to get the rental car and then go all the way back to the terminal to pick everyone up. Hopefully this goes much easier than the last time. Back to using a minivan for a day. All the same stuff too. All right, we are out of here. Got the van, because Lord knows we have a lot of stuff to put in here. We actually had to buy an extra suitcase because, well, we got too much stuff. So, thank God we're flying on Southwest where baggage is free. Heading back to the port terminal now to pick everyone up and kill a day here in San Diego. So we got the car, did a little shopping, a little driving, got some food. Now we're back at our next hotel, waiting for the Disney Wonder to just go sliding by. There she goes, way out there. Off on her next adventure. So I gotta admit, we are staying at the Hilton Airport Harbor Island Hotel for our post-cruise stay. This is pretty good. We get actually a really good view of the ships going in and out of port. So we saw the Disney Wonder leaving earlier. This is the Holland America Cunningham. And this is an amazing view of the ship going by. And it's at night. That is a huge cruise ship, by the way. It towered over the Disney Wonder. Definitely have to look into that. But anyway, this hotel is actually really good. It's right near the airport, so it's going to be really quick for us to get there tomorrow morning. We got a really early flight at 7:45. But even though it's right next to the airport, there's no noise. I can't hear any of the planes taking off or landing. There is, however, a lot of noise coming from the Coast Guard station right across. I hear helicopters taking off over there or something right now. But other than that, I thought we were going to hear like planes taking off and landing, but nothing over here. I heard more noise staying at the Wyndham Bayside than I do over here. So, pretty good hotel. Once again, that is an amazing ship. Huge. All right, time is now 5:15 in the morning. We are waiting for the shuttle to take us to the airport. It's been a long trip again. Definitely worth it. Getting ready to head on out. All right, so we are now back from our trip. So let's talk about a few things that were kind of good and bad that happened during this whole thing. So let's start off with just landing in San Diego. Baggage took almost an hour just to get the luggage out, and they almost lost one of our bags. We found it way off to the side with the customer service desk. For some reason, it wasn't on the carousel. We're not sure why, but that got squared away. Jump forward to getting the rental car. Alamo almost wasn't going to let us rent a car because our departure flight did not match up with the date that we were returning the car because of the cruise. It took a little bit of a while, but apparently there was a place to put in for ship departures or cruise departures, which should have been done from the beginning, which the employee at Alamo wasn't quite sure about. So that needed to be rectified as well. Moving on to Legoland. Legoland was amazing. Theming was amazing. The room was incredible. Only problem we had over there was a little weird thing with their shower curtain where it didn't quite reach the tub, so water would come out. Other than that, though, Legoland was awesome. Service was great. The theming was amazing. My son had a great time. Really nothing I can say bad about Legoland. Then let's get on to SeaWorld. SeaWorld, it didn't really stand out that much to me. I rode one ride, but it was empty. It was really, really dead that day. Of course, we were there on a Wednesday and then at the end of September, so that probably had to do something with that. And then finally, the Disney Wonder. That little problem we had at the beginning, if you want to go back to my first video, where we couldn't get on board because our boarding time was not showing up on our port arrival form. They weren't budging on that. It really felt that the person at the front was being very selective about who she was letting on in regards to having that port arrival time and not having it. I do know several people in our Facebook group that did not have a port arrival time that were just allowed onto the ship. Meanwhile, we had an issue where we could not get our port arrival time to show up on our form. We contacted Disney several times, at least 5 or 6 times, while waiting on hold about 2 hours each time. Every time I talked to them, they said that it would be fine. Just show up when the time that we selected. Even if it doesn't show up on our form, we'll be okay. That didn't happen. When I called guest services that day of the cruise, telling them what was going on, they said there was nothing they could do about it. That's not what we should have been told, even though we were told that by many different cast members. So that was a huge, huge glitch. Because of that, we lost about 2 hours of time, just killing time. Missed lunch on the ship. Missed a bunch of the open houses, a lot of the stuff that I really wanted to show you guys, and I'm really sorry I couldn't do that just because of whatever happened with Disney and our port arrival time. Now, on board, I did mention how on night 2 we had a weird ending. That was because at about 12 o'clock midnight, the toilet in my in-laws' room pretty much exploded, and water was pouring out all over the place in their bathroom. We had to call guest services. They sent over a mechanic, housekeeping. They took care of it. They tried making up for it. They sent us some sparkling cider for my in-laws, some wine for us, but it was just such a weird thing to happen right after all the problems the first day, which is not Disney's fault. I want to make that perfectly clear. However, as the cruise went on, we found that our future cruise credits did not get put on the ship as our onboard credit as it was supposed to. And we are talking a huge amount of money that was supposed to be on onboard credit. To give you an idea, we ended up with about, between the two rooms, $4,200 in onboard credit because of all the cancellations that had happened throughout the year, and then an extra $400 per room for choosing this specific cruise. After about a day of talking with guest services, they were finally able to get in touch with shoreside services and get those onboard credits added onto our account so that we weren't stuck with a huge bill at the end of the cruise. I'd like to reiterate though, none of this is really the fault of the cast members on board the ship. They did an amazing job with all the problems that we had, and I'm pretty sure a lot of the other guests on board as well. They took care of it, they did what they could, and they got us taken care of. I will say though that shoreside services really needs to clean up their house, make sure that they have the right information going out, and get all the processes done that they need to do, because the cast members on board the ship are really suffering for the follies and the problems that shoreside services are having. But just be aware that this is something you might encounter when coming on board as well. So that's it for the problems that we've had on Disney Cruise. What were the great things? Well, let's be honest, everything else was amazing. Starting off from the testing was done quickly, efficiently. Yes, it took about maybe 40 minutes, but first day and everybody's coming on all at once. I don't blame them for being a little bit behind on that. They're just trying to work out the bugs. But overall, 40 minutes, really not a long time just to wait for your results to come in for a COVID test. You still get those photo ops before you board the ship. And of course, you also get the grand entrance and the announcements of your party's name as you enter on board. Once they make your announcement, you're going to go into the atrium, and that's where you're going to have your mini sail away party. Mickey and Minnie are going to come down. They're going to greet you, welcome everybody on board, do a little song and dance for you, and then they're going to send you off to do your muster drill. Muster drill is way easier than what it used to be before. Instead of having to wait for the entire ship to show up at their muster stations at a specific time, all you're doing is taking your phone and your app, going to your muster drill, and you're going to snap a picture of the location that you're at. From there, you're going to watch a few videos, which they actually play both on your phone and on the ship at a later point, which they make everybody stop so you can pay attention. But that makes it way easier than what it used to be. That being said, do not forget to download your app before you get on the ship. The Disney Cruise Line Navigator app is the most important thing you are going to have while on board. It has the entire schedule of everything that's going on board the ship. It has all the menus for the restaurants, which you can look ahead before you go down to the restaurant, or you can just scan the QR codes once you get down there. That'll take you directly to the menus and see everything that they have to offer in the restaurant. Also, it is your link to guest services. You can either chat with them or you can make an appointment to go speak with them in person downstairs at the guest services desk. The chat feature works amazing. It makes it way easier for those simple questions that you might have. Yes, sometimes there is a queue. You're going to have to wait for some people. Sometimes you're going to have to wait quite a while depending on what time of day it is. But for the most part, it works amazingly. And of course, there are still character interactions. If you've visited any of the Disney parks recently, they've been doing socially distanced character interactions throughout the parks. The cruise line is no different. They're doing it the exact same way, where they just appear in the background. You can still go up, take a picture. Cast members are not allowed to handle your phones right now, but you can still get those amazing memories with your friends and family on board the ship. As far as the entertainment is concerned, yes, they are still showing those Broadway-style shows in the Walt Disney Theater. They will be socially distancing your party from other parties. I believe it was 3 seats in between the parties, and every other row was closed. But to make sure everybody gets to see it, they do show the shows on multiple nights rather than one show per night. So you do get cut down on the shows that you see, but you do get to see the good ones that everybody wants to see. On our cruise, we got to see Frozen and Disney Dreams. They were shown 2 nights each, 2 showings per night. So you actually had 4 opportunities to watch the shows. We did have the Halloween Mickey's Mouse Parade party up on deck. Once again, everybody was kept socially distanced. You need to show up early if you want to get a decent spot to be able to see. If you're okay with just watching the big screen, you're fine anywhere. But if your kids want to get a good view of the characters, you might want to show up a little early. Fireworks seems to be the exception though. You can get a good shot to watch that anywhere on the top deck. However, if you want to get those really perfectly framed shots with the funnel or perfect angle, you're probably going to want to go a little early to claim your spot. And when I say spots, I do mean spots. They're going to be making you stand on the little dots on the top deck and on the 9th deck as well, in order to keep everybody socially distanced. People coming late and just standing in the middle of everything are going to be asked to move along. So that's it, all the good and the bad from this amazing adventure. If you have any other questions, let me know down in the comments below. Thank you so much for coming along with this incredible journey. We really appreciate it. We do have a few other things coming up later on. Make sure you stick around to see what we got planned. So if you enjoyed anything that you saw, if you like any of the other videos down below, make sure you give me a like and a subscribe, and I will see you later. So until next time, peace.